Welcome to another test on air consumption, this time on my full-size guns. I've got a GTI Pro Lite. I've actually got 4 caps for it, so I'll run through the 4 caps as and when we do it to give you an idea of what difference the air consumption is. I've got my W400 and I'll run through the air cap when we actually use it. I've got my WS400 and an FLG5, which is, oh, I can't remember again now. It's called something else in the States. Something 620, I think. Anyway, it's called something else, or an SLG, maybe an SLG. I can't remember, but you guys will probably know. It's called an FLG in Europe and a lot of other places. Made in Brazil, whereas the GTI Pro Lites are made in the UK, and these two are made in Japan. Just for comparison, the idea of doing this test is it helps people know if they've only got a relatively small compressor, or they're not sure of the air consumption of something, and they're thinking, well, I'd like a full-size gun, but I don't think my compressor is going to keep up with it, etc., etc. So it should help people. If you look at the minigun video and you see the difference between the different caps and the different guns, and then you look at this, it should help people decide what they actually want, or what they can use comfortably within their air system, or whether they need to upgrade it or not. So I've got a 50 litre compressor. Sorry for you guys in the States, I'm not sure what that is in gallons. 4.55 divided by 50 should give you the gallons roughly. So, you know, if you've got a 100 litre tank, it should last twice as long. 150 litre tank, 3 times as long. So I'll just give you an idea. It's just a comparison so that people can get an idea of how much they use. So I'm going to run through them as and when I hook them up. I'll run through the various parts of it, you know, the air caps and things like that, because the air cap, some of these, particularly this, but this as well, you can get different air caps, which does make a difference. In some cases, a considerable difference to the amount of air it uses. This one normally only comes with 1 cap, although I understand you can actually get different caps for it, but I've certainly never seen them, and it's not normally something you come across as being widely available with different caps, whereas the others, particularly this one and this one, well, particularly this one, are. So let's start anyway. And I've got an SRI Pro Lite, which I did a test on the miniguns for the air consumption, and this one with the TE5 cap. I don't know if you can see, camera's on my head, but TE5 cap, 1.2 tip. That did about 38 to 40 seconds from memory. I did have the list somewhere, but I can't find it at the moment. It's about 40 seconds, 38 seconds from memory on a full tank. So we'll try that again, just to give you a comparison on the same day at the same pressure, etc. I've set my gauges. These are the filters, and I don't know if you can see I've set them at 2 bar, and that keeps at 2 bar running through. So if we connect a gun, leave this the air valve, leave it fully out, so you're getting the full pressure going through the gun, and you'll see it's literally 2 bar. Everything's 2 bar. So I'm going to have to let the compressor kick in again in a minute. So we'll run through this. So this is the WS400 with a 0.1 cap. Again, I don't know if you can see it. I can't see what you're actually seeing, but hopefully you can get a glimpse of it if I move it around like that. So it's a WS400 with an 0.1 cap, and this is in 1.3. I think I've got it at the moment. Did I put it in 1.3 or did I put it back to 1.5? 1.3, yeah, 1.3 HD. So it's a high delivery gun. So what we do is we're going to let the compressor run down, and then it will kick in, and the compressor now will get up to full pressure, and then we'll start the stopwatch and see how long it lasts, basically, just to give you an idea of how much consumption it's got. Now it's got 2 quite large holes on the air horn, and normally the larger the air holes on the air horn, the more the consumption. I say normally, it's always like that, but that is certainly normally the way it works. So let's have a go then. So we're going to kick this in. So WS400 with the 01 cap. Let's start now. I don't know whether you can see the timer on the phone. Okay, so that was about 14 seconds, just under, but we give it 14 seconds. So WS400 01 equals 14 seconds. Which isn't a lot at all. You can appreciate if you've only got a small compressor. As I say, this is a 14.6 CFM, so it actually fills up quite quickly, and it can keep up with all these guns. In fact, overtake them all. But if you're using an air-fed mask or something like that, I mean, I use an air-fed mask sometimes, and if I do, I've got two compressors. Well, I've actually got three, but I use two compressors, one for the gun and one for the air-fed mask. And put it in a different, well, outside the building basically, so it's bringing in fresh air. But that's by the by. So the idea is it's just giving you an idea of what the consumption is for your compressor at home, and you just have to, like, if it's not 50 litres, you'll just have to work it back or forward as to what the capacity of yours is, and it'll give you an idea of whether you can use these guns or not comfortably in your environment. And this is for the home user really. If you're a professional, you're going to have a proper setup, and this probably might be of interest to you, but it's not, you know, it's not the be all and end all. Whereas if you're a guy at home, it is often a case of choosing the gun to go with your setup. Anyway, enough rambling. So let's resume. Sorry, let's reset that. So FLG5, as I say, I can't remember what it's called in the States, but it is something slightly different. I think it's SLG, I'm sure it is, or SLK. No, it's a Mercedes, isn't it? Never mind. FLG5 finishing line. So that's fully open again. Pressure's set to 2 here on the gauges. So we're going to start again. Go. Again, if you can see the now this I'm expecting this to last certainly longer than the WS400, probably about 25 seconds. Okay, that was actually about 15 seconds, so not a lot of difference at all, which has surprised me. It says 17 seconds, but I actually turned it off too slow, so it's about 15, maybe 15 and a half. But certainly, I thought it'd be much more than that, but obviously not. So next one is W400. That's the B4A2 cap, the bell area. Now with the Iwatas, you've got two, and again, forgive me if you're not actually seeing this correctly, but you've got two holes on the air cap, which with all of the ones we've tested so far, you've got two holes on the air cap. But these are on the BA2 cap, you've only got two holes, so you've got one each side rather than two each side, which makes 4 on this one. So it does use less air. So this uses more air than the older cap, but this is the HVLP cap as far as I understand it. So it normally gives less overspray, but at the expense of air consumption. So let's see what we've got, shall we? Reset and start again. Hopefully you can see it now. I haven't got a clue what this one's going to be, because I would have bet the other one was 20-25 seconds, and it wasn't. So I don't know, we'll just have to see. Okay, so that's about 15 seconds. Sorry. W400-2. So this might be, they're all going to be about the same, but from using them they don't seem the same at all, but we'll see. Okay, now this is the HV30, high volume, low pressure, very big holes at the front, actually a really good cap, really lays it on nice and smooth, ideal for clear coat or base coat. You know, at the right pressure, you just adjust the pressure accordingly for what you're doing. But this normally uses loads of air, and I would think it would be somewhere around the 14 seconds, but I've been totally wrong so far, so maybe I'll be wrong again. Here we go. You can see it again. It may even be less than the 14 seconds. Yeah. Now that was 11 seconds. Now, at least that's the seat off the pants from me, was that would use the most air, because it seems to when you're using it. And it certainly has proved that way so far. So TE20, which from my seat off the pants memory would be the next one to use the next most air, if that makes sense. Right, so here we go. So TE20, let's try that. I was a little bit like, damn it. Oh, stop. Reset. I'm going to have to run the compressor down because I cocked it up basically. Never mind. Now, if anybody's counting, they might have an idea of how long this is going to be. I can write this in anyway. Pro Lite TE20. That's still right, isn't it? Right, there we go again, sorry about that. It should be less than that, the HV30. 14. 14. So T110, sorry, T10. So T10. I think in the States these are called something different. I think T20 and T10 is the same, but I think you have a TE110 and you have a TE25 and a TE30. We have a HV30, which is your TE30. We have a HV25, which I don't have, which is your TE25. I think you'll find it is, but it's yeah, it's all comparable. But the T10 and T20 is the same. Don't matter where you are. Right. So reset that. I'm rambling again. Here we go. Go. I expect it to be a bit more than the T20, but maybe it won't be because I haven't been very lucky so far with these. Okay, so about 16 seconds. T110 on and we'll see what that does. I don't know why I'm centering it because it doesn't need to be. So T110, reset. Now I would expect this to be about the same as the T10, but I've done this for a reason. I'll tell you why in a minute. But T110, here we go. Hopefully you can see it. 17 and 16 I think, but it's hardly anything in it. But you can see starting to look from the HV30 to the T110 or the TE10, although it's only another 5 or 6 seconds worth of use before you've used your air, it's like 35%, isn't it? 35, 40% even. Maths like, yeah, about 40%, isn't it? Yeah, 40%. Right, so the reason I did the Pro Lite last with the T110 is because this is a copy, a Devilbiss, but they have all sorts of names on them. I did a video showing the differences between the real ones and the fake ones, and I just use this for rubbish stuff, really, stuff that I'm not too fussed about the gun, although it's cleaning up alright still. Anyway, so we'll have a go at that. Now the T110 cap here I reckon is similar to the TE20, but we'll see. We'll see what the air consumption is like. Let's go. So I expect it to use certainly more than a normal T110. Well, they're all very close, to be fair. So we're past the HV, yeah, okay. About 13 seconds. So you can see, wait for the compressor, so you can see that the T110, the fake one, takes 13 seconds to empty the tank. The T110 genuine one takes 17 seconds, and my gut feeling that it's similar to the TE20 with what it does, the air consumption, the finish is similar as well, although not as good, I wouldn't say, but similar, and it's this similar air consumption. So basically, like I was saying before about the Chinese fake caps, don't buy a T110 thinking you get a T110, because you're not. It's not the same at all. Right, so just for comparison, we'll have a look at the SRI Pro Lite and see what this uses. Here we go. So this I use mini guns more than I use large guns, you know, full size guns, because most of my parts are small parts, motorcycle parts and things like that, and the difference in consumption is quite obvious. As you can see, it's gone past anything on that scale, and it's still going strong. I expect this to last at least 30 seconds, 40 seconds maybe, just going by the other test. So 35. So yeah, I mean, I think last time the T, okay, got 43 seconds. So this is the T5, if you can see it. With the TE5 cap 1.2 equals 43 seconds. So you can see here how much less air a minigun uses compared to all these. Now the manufacturers give a figure, the actual consumption, the CFM cubic feet per minute consumption, or litres per minute. They may give it in, but they're not always right. I'm sure when they do it at the factory it may well be right, but the only way to do it is to compare them like for like on exactly the same setup on the same day, etc., which is what I'm doing now. So basically all these full-size guns they last between 11 and 17 seconds, but to give you an average, it's about 14 seconds. So if you've got a 100 litre compressor at home, you'll get about 28 seconds before the compressor needs to kick in. If you've got a minigun, you'll get double that, which is like a minute and a half, something like that. So you can see if you are only doing small components, really all you need is a minigun, because it's a lot better on air, and will do exactly what you want it to do, which is half the battle. I've got a T3 cap there. Now that T3 is actually for the GTI Pro, not the Pro Lite. Clean that while we clean them. And it really lays it flat. But looking at the air holes, shall we do it? Might as well do it, I suppose. It's a really good cap. It's similar to the T110, but it's more of an O pattern than an I pattern. And I will do a pattern test on these. I've done one for the various caps on the GTI Pro Lite, and I will do some. Will do one for the other guns, just so that you can get an idea of how big the pattern is. It's a lot of cleaning up afterwards to do it, so I will do it, but it's just a matter of getting around to doing it. So let's just try this. It's a T3 cap, but it's a really good cap. It gives you much more of an O pattern, so it gives you more of like a pattern like this. I don't know whether you can see that pattern like that instead of a pattern like that. So that's an I, that's an O, which is obvious really, but I'm just in case people don't know. Right, so let's have a quick go with the T3 cap. I expect it to be about the same as the T20, maybe a little bit more, but it's a really good cap. Someone said to me a few years ago it was a tip to get one of those. Not even that. About 11 seconds. T3 cap. But it is a very good cap. It actually has, what is it? The T110, which is the other cap that really lays it flat, which is this one here. The T110 has much smaller air horns. They're shorter, and the holes, as I say, I don't know whether you can see this, so I'm just moving it so hopefully you get a glimpse one time. So the smaller holes, so that the air consumption is less, but you'll see this actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes, whereas this only has 4, quite close to the centre of the cone. But it's a really good cap. Anyway, I thought I'd just throw that in while it was there. Alright, well I hope it's been of use to somebody, and thanks very much. Cheers.